The fair Rosamond married Edgar. You've heard of King Henry II and the story of how he got fond of one of his customers' daughters, a lass called the fair Rosamond. Quo. 'Twere a lovely romance while it lasted, the course of true love ran serene, till some nosy park-hurrying varlet started carrying tales to the queen. The queen were at first incredulous. She said, quo. What a tale to invent! Quo. The king would not stoop to such business, at any rate, not during Lent. Quo. But one morning she picked up a doublet as he dropped on his bedroom settee. It had 3 golden hairs on the shoulder and a strong smell of soirée Paris. Quo. She went to the king in a passion and showed him this evidence clear, and swore by her distaff and wimple that she weren't having none of that fear. She said, quo. If I catch that young woman, she'll leave no more hairs on your coat, her trying to pinch other folks' monarchs. I'll give her a swim in the moat. So he took Rosie off to the country, to an old-fashioned manor of his, with an Ampton Court maison quo, in the garden as he kept for occasions like this. But the queen wasn't fooled for a moment. She knew all about Henry's ways. She slipped off herself the next morning and secretly watched that their maize. She were hiding in Timacaracapa when Rosie came out for the milk, and she fixed to her dress as she passed her the end of a bobbin of silk. Poor Rosie went back not suspecting the trail she were leaving behind, and the queen slowly followed her, gloating at what she expected to find. The king he were toasting the muffin, and Rosie were wetting the tea, when in walked the queen, her face shining with a look of malevolent glee. She'd a basin of poison in one hand, in the other a glittering knife. The king kind of goggled a moment, then turned and said, quo. Rose, meet the wife. Quo. The queen shoved the basin at Rosie, and held the knife out by its point. It were plain she had no but 2 choices, the soup or a cut off the joint. The fair Rosamond begged for mercy. She said, quo. What you've heard is not true, our friendship were purely platonic. Quo. A yarn which in them days was new. The king told the same tale as Rosie, and if that's not the truth, queen, quo, he cried, may I die on this spot where I'm standing. As he said it he skipped to one side. The queen at the finish believed them, but to save further messing around, she packed Rosie off to a convent and had the maze burnt to the ground.